可能断了之后有吗？有。虽然频道是同一个，固定是一个。
换动一下。
你那个手机在直播就对了。
对啊，因为我是同一个账号。但是软体 OBS 就没有吧？
OBS 也会装进来，是不是？
我也不知道，没有。
它是透过电脑直播。
对啊，所以应该是不同系统。
透过电脑直播，好，等一下进到这里的画面都会直播出去吗？
对。设定找6了，大概找6。
然后老师们如果已经设定好，也按确定了，就是把那个钥匙敲进去之后呢，因为我们的时间接下来算是比较紧迫一点的，所以呢，我就会比较快的让老师练习一下这个那个 OBS 的部分。然后你可以看到 OBS 的那个直播的部分呢，它有很多的可能。
看报纸的。
哦，就是刚刚有老师问到说，在直播看人家直播的时候，除了有手机的画面之外，你可能还看到两边还有广告啊，哦，然后或者是有家人的照片啊什么的，那就是你自己去排列组合，就是说我要加背景图，我要加各种媒体的来源，或者是我要像在播那个投影片放映，它的投影片放映的概念不是我们的投影片，不是那个 PowerPoint 投影片的概念，它的投影片放映的那个概念是，我如果早年我们如果买那个电子相框，然后电子相框里面不是可以放映一张照片一张照片这样放吗？它的那投影片放映指的是这个，然后真正我如果要播 PowerPoint 的话，那就是要用萤幕截取的方式来做这样。所以等一下大家如果手头上，有请大家准备那个自己的手头上的投影片啊、教材或等等的，你就可以试着在我们的这个教室电脑里面，把你的那个教材啊，当做那个萤幕截取的对象，然后我们就开始直播，然后你就同时也去看从你的那个 YouTube 的那个，用你的手机啦，用你的手机是比较方便，你的手机去看我的频道。
所以后来为什么又有？
这就是你开 YouTube， 你自己的 YouTube 的 App。然后进去，你就会进去看你自己的频道，然后你就看到你现在有一个直播事件，这样比较不会影响你桌面上直播会画面会很混乱。如果你用浏览器开的话，我会建议说你用你的手机开 YouTube 的 App， 然后去看你直播的状况这样。然后如果老师们是没有可以操作的那个账号的话，那就是两一起用这样。所以，但是要怎么选那个直播源呢？就是比如说我今天如果要播的是什么，我今天如果有一些媒体的档案，然后同时要截取桌面，然后要有 Webcam， 那我就都选一选，然后把它加进去。然后，但是我们现在如果是整个桌面都要直播出去的话，就是整个桌面都送出去。视窗截取是说针对特定的你开起来的一个应用程式这样，然后开始直播出去就会是一个你现在操作的电脑的画面这样。然后因为今天的电脑教室没有 Webcam 的，所以我们当然就不要去选那个。是那个视讯截取的那个部分上。那如果你未来是要在教室里面有想要路径的话，那你也可以用这样的方式做。可是如果单纯的没有要做很复杂的事情的话，你也可以退一步，不需要出动电脑，就是用你的手机也可以做，就是也是一个选择这样。但是电脑上的做的话，用 OBS 的话，就是多一些可能性，怎么了？ 左脚有一个加号，你要先按加号。左下角有一个加号。你们可能荧幕上有被挡到，就是在这个地方，这个地方有个加号，然后。
要选什么？
你们先操作，然后我这边有准备另外一台笔电，然后我用我的笔电也同步操作一遍。等一下用那个广播操作给你们看一遍，这样。你们现在先试着，照这3个步骤，看能不能直播出去。如果不行，等一下我广播让你们参考。
视窗截取，媒体来源啊。视窗显示器截取，必须永不言，视窗截取而已啊。
对啊，没有东西啊。你已经有东西跑出来了。
这是视窗截取的、啊。显示器选取，所以他是要我们抓几个、啊？1、2、3、4，1、2、3、4，投影片放映吗？然后还有什么？这第2个，显示器截取。
我现在直接示范给大家看，然后我会启动那个广播系统。
播这个画面。
啊？
就是直播画面，就是显示器。
显示器。
所以各位老师有看到我的画面嘛？对不对？就是你现在看到的是我这边有 OBS 现在正在串流了。那我先把串流把它先停起来。就是说，首先就是你在设定里面，在串流这边呢，你要把那个金钥贴在这里嘛。好，金钥贴在这里，有没有任何人有问题的？有问题请举手一下。没有哈。那如果没有，我们就有贴了这个金钥之后呢，要做串流的时候，选项其实就很单纯，在这个地方选加号，然后看我要串流的来源是什么。那如果还都不熟悉的时候，最简单就是我选那个显示器的截取，我串流出去，我就知道到底有没有正常。那如果都正常，那我们就可以进一步再玩一些进阶的，就是一个一个去玩看看我要做什么。那你会发现说，我这边预览是关掉，预设是开的。可是开的，如果你用萤幕截取的话呢，你就会出现一个魔镜现象。好，有没有？就是两个镜子，我小没有玩过，两个镜子这样。然后，所以通常如果你要用桌面截取的话，我会建议在这个桌面在那个预览这里按右键，启用预览这里把它关掉。因为你如果不这样做的话，你后面看到其实是很恐怖的，这样就是直播出去的东西。然后，另外就是说，那直播会看到什么呢？我可能，我等一下直接示范给你看。后面是我的投影片嘛，对不对？那我如果按开始串流之后，我就要送到那个我的直播环境去了。可是因为，怎么讲？我没有办法同时又直播又让你看，所以我现在要切到另外一台笔电，我先让它直播出去。我现在按的直播有没有？那你就会看到下面的那个 bar 一直在动，就是每秒钟送多少资料，然后那个绿色的跟黄色的有不断的闪，那个原因就是它有麦克风有收到那个声音嘛，那你就可以观察到说，收音是不是正常？然后我现在当然我没有开 webcam 因为我这一台就是还刻意买那个有盖子的这样，然后对，不是常常会有那种说有骇客可以看到你的那个 webcam 嘛。然后你知道后来最终极的做法，我看到很多人都贴一张贴纸嘛，对不对？然后有笔电的厂商做到这种程度，你看。这个是 MIT 的床，很厉害，因为这是打仗用的，对，那个军方不希望说你的一些机密被窥视到这样，然后又设计可以挡子弹、防水什么的，所以很有趣的。然后，所以我接到我另外一台笔电来让你们看我这一台在直播，然后可以看到什么，所以 现在是什么状态。所以比如说，我这个有4个人看过，然后你选这个下拉式选单，倒数第2个选项就是下载 MPEG-4。
我去哪里看啊？
然后就可以下载回来了这样。当然你也可以把它删掉。就是比如说这个是刚刚直播的内容嘛，然后这里就有个下载 MP4，不晓得你们有没有看到？如果自己进你的创作者工作室都可以看得到的，反正原则上就是可以拿得回来的。然后之后看你要怎么运用都可以，因为
往昔所造诸恶业，皆因无始贪嗔痴。
从身语意之所生，今对佛前求忏悔。
放下颠倒梦想，放下云烟，放下空与色，放下悬念。
不要让女儿看见你杀人。
多一物却添了太多危险，少一物贪嗔痴会少一点。若是缘，再苦味也是甜；若无缘，常爱在心田。真是藕断还是念，回首一瞬间，终可身影陪你走好每一天。
先懂得放下一切，则一切不住，才懂得面对。从今日起，归于自性三宝：佛者觉也，法者正也，僧者净也。阿弥陀佛。
唯有心无挂碍，成就大愿；唯有心无妙，不可言。算天算地算尽了中间，算不出生死会在哪一天。无声恨电化虚空的缘，无声缘欢喜不遥远。缠绕欲望的思念，散了一瞬间，心怀忏悔陪你走好每一天。再老的谎言，却逃不过检验。明日之间，心流离更远。浮云刹那间，障眼人心间逆间，疾苦念念不断的出现。
Hi, everyone. So I'm going to take us back to 2007. I had just spent about 6 months working on an album that I had poured my heart and my soul into, and it was getting about 3 plays per day on MySpace at the time. And I was getting more and more depressed when I started noticing these other people who were playing guitar and singing and putting videos on this new site called YouTube, and they were getting 300,000 views. So I decided I'm going to start making some YouTube videos. And one day they featured a video of my band on the homepage, which was amazing. We got a bunch of new fans. We also got a bunch of people who, I guess, just didn't really like the music or something. But it's okay, because people started coming to our shows, and we started touring, and we came out with a record. And when I checked our bank account balance after our first monthly iTunes payout, we had $22,000 in it, which was amazing, because at the time I was living at my dad's house trying to make a living as a musician by uploading videos to the internet, which literally 0 people respected in 2009, even the people who were uploading videos to the internet. And so for the next 4 years, I uploaded more and more videos to the internet, and they got better and better, and we made enough money through brand deals and commercials and iTunes sales to buy a house, and we built a recording studio. But there was one big problem. Making money as a creative person in 2013 was super weird. First of all, the business models were changing all the time. So our $58,000 of annual iTunes download income was about to be replaced by about $6,000 of streaming income. Streams paid less than downloads. And then as more and more creators started popping up online, there was just more competition for these 5-figure brand deals that had kept the band afloat for years. And to top it all off, our videos themselves, the creative stuff that we made that our fans loved and appreciated and that were actually contributing value to the world, those videos were generating almost $0 of income for us. So this is an actual snapshot of my YouTube dashboard from a 28-day period that shows 1 million views and $166 of ad earnings for those views. The whole machine in 2013 that took art online and outputted money was totally non-functional. It doesn't matter if you're a newspaper or an institution or an independent creator. A webcomic with 20,000 monthly readers, 20,000 monthly readers gets paid a couple $100 in ad revenue. This is 20,000 people. In what world is this not enough? I don't understand what systems have we built where this is insufficient for a person to make a living. So I actually have a theory about this. I think it's been a weird 100 years. Yeah. So about 100 years ago, humans figured out how to record sound onto a wax cylinder. That was the beginning of the phonograph. Right around the same time, we figured out how to record light onto a piece of photographic paper, celluloid, the beginning of film and television. And so for the first time, you could store art on a thing, which was amazing. Art used to be completely ephemeral, so if you missed the symphony, you just didn't get to hear the orchestra. But now, for the first time, you could store the orchestra's performance on a physical object and listen to it later, which was amazing. It was so amazing, in fact, that for the next 100 years, between 1900 and 2000, humans built just billions and billions of dollars of infrastructure to essentially help artists do 2 things. First, put their art on a thing. And second, get that thing around the world to the people who wanted the art. So much industry is devoted to these 2 problems. Oh my gosh, there's trucking companies and brick and mortar and marketing firms and CD jewel case manufacturers, and all devoted to these 2 problems. And then we all know what happened 10 years ago. The internet matures, and we get Spotify and Facebook and YouTube and iTunes and Google search. And 100 years of infrastructure and supply chains and distribution systems and monetization schemes are completely bypassed in a decade. After 100 years of designing these things, it's no wonder that it's just totally broken for creative people right now. It's no wonder that the monetization part of the chain doesn't work given this new context. But what gets me super excited to be a creator right now, to be alive today, to be a creative person right now, is realizing that we're only 10 years into figuring out this new machine, to figuring out the next 100 years of infrastructure for our creators. And you can tell we're only 10 years in. There's a lot of trial and error. There's some really good ideas forming. There's a lot of experimentation. We're figuring out what works and what doesn't. Like Twitch streamers. Who's heard of Twitch? Twitch streamers are making $3,000 to $5,000 a month uploading, streaming gaming content. The big ones are making over $100,000 a year. There's a site called YouNow. It's an app. It allows musicians and vloggers to get paid in digital goods from fans. So I'm also working on the problem. 4 years ago, I started a company called Patreon with a friend of mine. We're 80 people now working on this problem. It's basically a membership platform that makes it really easy for creators to get paid every month. from their fans to earn a living. For a creator, it's like having a salary for being a creative person. And this is one of our creators. They're called Kinda Funny. They have about 220,000 subscribers on YouTube. And when they upload a video, it gets somewhere around 15,000 views to 100,000 views. I want you to check yourselves right now. I think when we hear numbers like that, when we hear 15,000 views and we see content like this, we just like snap categorize it as being not as legitimate as like a morning show that you'd hear on the radio, or a talk show that you'd see on NBC or something. But when Kinda Funny launched on Patreon, within a few weeks they were making $31,000 per month for this show. It took off so fast that they decided to expand their programming and add new shows, and now they launched a second Patreon page. They're making an additional $21,000 per month. And they're scaling what's essentially becoming a media company, financing the whole thing through membership. Okay, here's another example. This is Derek Bodner, a sports journalist who used to write for Philadelphia Magazine till a few months ago when the magazine cut out all sports coverage. Now he writes articles and publishes them on his own website. He's still covering sports, but for himself. And he's making $4,800 a month from 1,700 patrons, financing it through membership. This is Crash Course, free educational content for the world. This show is actually on the PBS digital network, $29,000 per month. This is a duo sailing around the world, getting paid every month for documenting their travels from 1,400 patrons. This is a podcast, Chapo Trap House, making actually, since I screenshotted this, they're making an additional $2,000 per month. So they're now making $56,000 per month for their podcast. And Patreon's not the only one working on the problem. So even Google's starting to work on this. A couple years ago, they launched fan funding. More recently, they launched Super Chat as a way for creators to monetize live streaming. Newspapers are starting to experiment with membership. New York Times has a membership program. The Guardian has over 200,000 paying subscribers to its membership program. There's this like bubbling soup of ideas and experiments and progress right now, and it's pointing in the direction of getting creators paid. And it's working. It's not like perfect yet, but it's really working. So Patreon has over 50,000 creators on the platform making salaries, getting paid every month for putting art online, for being a creative person. The next 100 years of infrastructure is on the way. And it's going to be different this time because of this, because of the direct connection between the person who makes the thing and the person who likes the thing. About 7 or 8 years ago, I went to a cocktail party. This is when the band had like hit our first machine, so things were really cranking. We had just made about $400,000 in 1 year through iTunes sales and brand deals and stuff like that. And this guy comes up to me and says, "Hey Jack, what do you do?" I said, "I'm a musician." And he just like he sobered up like immediately, and he like stuck out his hand, put a hand on my shoulder, and in like a real earnest, very nice voice, he was like, "I hope you make it someday." And I have so many moments like that logged in my memory. I just cringe thinking of that. It's so embarrassing to just not feel valued as a creative person. But as a species, we are leaving that cocktail party behind. We're leaving that culture. We're out of there. We're going to get so good at paying creators. Within 10 years, kids graduating high school and college are going to think of being a creator as just being an option. I could be a doctor, I could be a lawyer, I could be a podcaster, I could have a webcomic. Like, it's just going to be something you can do. We're figuring it out. It's going to be a viable and sustainable and respected profession. Creators are going to come out the other end of this weird 100 years, this century-long journey, with an awesome new machine. And they're going to be paid, and they're going to be valued. Thanks, everybody. I think it went pretty well. Yeah, I want artists who saw that to not give up, to know that we're getting there. It's not there yet, but in a couple years, there will be so many systems and tools for them to just make a living online. And if they've got a podcast that's starting to take off, but they're not able to make money on it yet, like, that's happening, and they're going to be paid. It's happening.
Hi, everyone. 2 years ago, my life changed forever. My wife, Kelsey, and I welcomed our daughter, Leela, into the world. Now, becoming a parent is an amazing, amazing experience. Your whole world changes overnight, and all of your priorities change immediately, so fast that it makes it really difficult to process sometimes. Now, you also have to learn a tremendous amount about being a parent, like, for example, how to dress your child. This was new to me. This is an actual outfit. I thought this was a good idea. And even Leela knows that it's not a good idea. So there was so much to learn and so much craziness all at once. And to add to the craziness, Kelsey and I both work from home. We're entrepreneurs. We run our own businesses. So Kelsey is develops courses online for yoga teachers. I'm an author. And so I'm working from home. Kelsey's working from home. We have an infant, and we're trying to make sure that everything gets done that needs done. And life is really, really, really busy. And a couple weeks into this amazing experience, when the sleep deprivation really kicked in, like around week 8, I had this thought, and it was the same thought that parents across the ages, internationally, everybody has had this thought, which is, I am never going to have free time ever again. And somebody said it's true. Yeah, it's not exactly true, but it feels really, really true in that moment. And this was really disconcerting to me, because one of the things that I enjoy more than anything else is learning new things. Getting curious about something and diving in and fiddling around and learning through trial and error and eventually becoming pretty good at something. And without this free time, I didn't know how I was ever going to do that ever again. And so I'm a big geek. I want to keep learning things. I want to keep growing. And so what I decided to do was go to the library and go to the bookstore and look at what research says about how we learn and how we learn quickly. And I read a bunch of books, I read a bunch of websites, and trying to answer this question, how long does it take to acquire a new skill? You know what I found? 10,000 hours. Anybody ever heard this? 10,000. It takes 10,000 hours. If you want to learn something new, if you want to be good at it, it's going to take 10,000 hours to get there. And I read this in book after book and website after website, and my mental experience of reading all of this stuff was like, no, I don't have time. I don't have 10,000 hours. I am never going to be able to learn anything new ever again. But that's not true. So 10,000 hours, just to give you a rough order of magnitude, 10,000 hours is a full-time job for 5 years. That's a long time. And we've all had the experience of learning something new, and it didn't take us anywhere close to that amount of time, right? So what's up? There's something kind of funky going on here. What the research says and what we expect and have experiences, they don't match up. And what I found, here's the wrinkle. The 10,000-hour rule came out of studies of expert-level performance. There was a professor at Florida State University. His name is K. Anders Ericsson. He's the originator of the 10,000-hour rule. And where that came from is he studied professional athletes, world-class musicians, chess grandmasters, all of these ultra-competitive folks in ultra-high-performing fields, and he tried to figure out how long does it take to get to the top of those kinds of fields. And what he found is the more deliberate practice, the more time that those individuals spent practicing the elements of whatever it is that they do, the more time you spend, the better you get. And the folks at the tippy top of their fields put in around 10,000 hours of practice. Now, we're talking about the game of telephone a little bit earlier. here's what happened. An author by the name of Malcolm Gladwell wrote a book in 2007 called Outliers, the Story of Success. And the centerpiece of that book was the 10,000-hour rule. Practice a lot, practice well, and you will do extremely well. You'll reach the top of your field. So the message, what Dr. Erickson was actually saying is, it takes 10,000 hours to get to the top of an ultra-competitive field in a very narrow subject. That's what that means. But here's what happened. Ever since Outliers came out, immediately came out, reached the top of the bestseller list, stayed there for 3 solid months. All of a sudden, the 10,000-hour rule was everywhere. And a society-wide game of telephone started to be played. So this message, it takes 10,000 hours to reach the top of an ultra-competitive field, became, it takes 10,000 hours to become an expert at something. Which became, it takes 10,000 hours to become good at something. Which became, it takes 10,000 hours to learn something. But that last statement, it takes 10,000 hours to learn something, it's not true. It's not true. So, what the research actually says, if I spent a lot of time here at the CSU library in the cognitive psychology stacks, because I'm a geek. And when you actually look at the studies of skill acquisition, you see over and over and over a graph like this. Now, researchers, whether they're studying a motor skill, something you do physically, or a mental skill, they like to study things that they can time, because you can quantify that, right? So they'll give research participants a little task, something that requires physical arrangement or something that requires learning a little mental trick, and they'll time how long a participant takes to complete the skill. And here's what this graph says. When you start, so when researchers